I have a question about excess insurance coverage, which we noted that the governor's proposed budget for DGS, the line items increased a fairly astonishingly amount, 182%, from 1.37 million to 3.87 million. First of all, could you, the state is self-insured, so can we describe what excess insurance coverage actually covers for us?
Representative, I'm going to hand it over to Beverly since she oversees that operation directly.
Happy to explain it. Thanks for the question. The excess property insurance policy covers our... Sure. Sorry. The excess property insurance policy covers our buildings and grounds for any occurrences for which our state insurance fund cannot cover. So typically we use a $1 million retention or deductible. Any property damage that exceeds that amount then goes to this excess insurance policy. Back in 2016, when we were working with the broker Aon, we were able to achieve a 3-year agreement that locked us in at an extraordinarily low rate. Unfortunately, this fiscal year, that low rate ended. And despite some vigorous negotiations, we were not able to achieve the same rate we had in the past.
Is it with the same, are we dealing with the same provider?
We are dealing with the same broker. We always look to work with the same provider since they know our loss history and our stellar loss history, I'll add. This year, unfortunately, that provider decided not to bid on our opportunity and was not the lowest cost. So we are working with a new provider this year. We are working with Travelers for our property, and we are working with Bermuda for our terrorism coverage. I would add a couple of side notes to that. While it looks like a significant increase going from about a little over a penny for $100 insured to over 4 cents per $100 insured, when we look at comparables, particularly they were able to provide us with another state government. They won't tell us what state. But that state has about $37 billion in exposure and is paying almost 8 cents per $100 insured. So I'd be happy to share additional details.
But our record, I mean, there's nothing that has happened in our record that would have precipitated this increase. This was simply a matter of this was the best negotiated rate we could come up with versus the best negotiated rate we could come up with last time, which was extraordinarily good. Is that
That's
what we're saying?
correct. And the market has seen significant increases across the last 7 quarters, and we were locked in during those quarters.
What is the standard that we have for whether we're being successful in this arena or not in terms of low risk?
Sure. So I'll tell you, I looked at the last 5 years. The excess insurance policy over the course of the last 5 years has only been tapped 2 times. In fiscal year 14-15, we had a boiler accident at a state correctional institution. That particular claim was just over $1 million, so the amount that the excess property insurance policy covered was hardly a little over $250,000. More recently, you may recall we had a fire at a Greene County PennDOT facility. That one we are still in the process of negotiating. I will tell you that happens to be with the previous provider. We have already received to date $6 million for property and contents, and we are continuing to negotiate with them as PennDOT is planning to rebuild. So we are now looking at prorating that rebuild footprint to get replacement cost value.
That's good. That's outstanding, and to be honest, makes the increase even a little harder to swallow, just because I think we've obviously done a pretty good job of mitigating risk, and we can show that. Hopefully, at our next, how long is the length of this? Is this a 3-year as well?
No, 1 year. We went in at 1 year.
Okay.
Additionally, I'll add we have an option this year to either go back to market for a new broker or to execute an option. So we're also exploring those options as well.
And if as you explore those options, perhaps I know members of this committee would certainly be interested in that, since that's something that stood out. So if you could keep us informed, that would be great.
Be happy to.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.